Both series of the 3WideRacing League head into the playoffs as they did last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're 2 rounds in for both the Truck Series and the Cup Series, but tonight it's the turn for the YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour from Talladega. This place is fabled to be built on Indian burial grounds, and of course, it's a challenging racetrack for any driver trying to launch their way towards a championship. In this series, there's no eliminations. It's all just a race to the finish in the playoffs this season. There's 6 races. This is our second, and it all begins now. Finian, welcome to Talladega Super Speedway. This track is one that a lot of drivers circle, and it's one that a lot of drivers cross out on the schedule. They're not looking forward to it necessarily, but I think there's either a little bit of excitement or a little bit of nervousness walking into tonight. Your thoughts on Talladega?
Yeah, this is typically the wild card in any schedule, especially if you put this race in the playoffs for all of these drivers. It can go any which way, and for Gruenberg, I'm sure he's going to be hoping that he can walk out of here continuing his pretty solid points lead of, I believe, 15 points over Cameron Rich.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid points lead for Gruenberg. He's been so solid this season. The driver to beat for sure. But qualifying is complete, and we're heading down to the grid for the start of the 75-lap race here tonight. This is not a short race tonight, Finian. This is about an hour and 9 minutes of green flag racing. That's quite a little ways. So your thoughts on the strategy tonight for some of the drivers and the points that need a little bit of a boost heading into the next race?
Yeah, I think really it's going to be just a matter of making sure to make it to the end of this race. Typically you expect at least a caution or two at Talladega, and especially you expect the big one at some point to rear its ugly head. So for a lot of these drivers, it's going to be a matter of not being in or being a part of the big one and trying to stay out of it, especially if you're guys like Cameron Rich trying to pursue Matt Gruenberg. Because if Gruenberg gets caught in a wreck, that's going to bring everyone back into contention, guys like Rich, Hill, and Frankenfield looking for the opportunity.
So if you could, Finian, you could update us on the points either now or in just a moment here, just because the point standings really didn't get a huge shakeup last week at Atlanta, because Matt Gruenberg, of course, still really in the lead. But the problem is that he lost a bunch of ground. He kind of lost a lot of his bubble heading into this race. So this does not mean that he can just hang out and ride. He has to perform tonight. And by perform, I mean don't get crashed. This is an important night for Matt Gruenberg. Going to set the tone for the rest of the playoffs. Finish well and keep your points lead heading into the next round, because we only have about 4 races left in the season after this. Of course, Matt Gruenberg going to be starting on pole tonight, and on the front row, Matt Gruenberg, Tate Lytle going to be on that front row, and we know how talented both these drivers are. But update of the point standings, Finian, who's looking hot and who's looking not?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's Gruenberg up 15 points over guys like Cameron Rich. Cameron Rich back, obviously, in second, 15 points behind. Then it's Robert Hill Jr., 21 points behind. He can also turn this night upside down for him if he can get a solid finish, get some few points to him, as well as Chad Frankenfield. And really, it's those 4 that are looking at a prime opportunity. But even Chad Frankenfield, too, he's 24 points back. That's almost about a race or so, a little bit less than a race. I mean, obviously, you have the halfway bonus points at play, which will also be a very big factor, too. A lot of with guys getting very hectic towards that point. Might see a yellow there with guys trying to get those extra bonus points, which are very valuable at this stage in the chase.
Field rolling off to start their pace lap around here. So as we get rolling here shortly, of course, Gruenberg on pole, and then up on the front row with them is the Tate Lytle machine in the 56. And we know Tate Lytle's really solid, but is there anybody out here, Finian, that you think is any better at a restrictor plate race than anybody else? Is there anyone that stands out to you, or is everyone on a pretty level playing field heading into tonight?
I think everyone's on a pretty level playing field. The trucks seem to be, I guess, the least... we see the least difference as far as skill at a plate track. I feel like the Cup Series has definitely shown a lot more. If you really know how to manipulate the air, you can really move up quite a few spots. I think the Truck Series are less so like that. You can, as long as you got decent truck underneath you, and if you know what you're doing, I think you can definitely move yourself to the front.
Well, I guess we're glad we're not in a place like Atlanta or Texas this week, Finian, because taking a look at the track temp, 127 degrees. That's one of the hottest Talladega racetracks we've ever seen, and thankfully for these guys, the track temp really shouldn't be too huge of a factor tonight.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, and hopefully it isn't, even when the tires wear out. I'll be kind of surprised to see guys start breaking loose. Though, yeah, like I said, don't think we should be expecting that.
Last time we ran restrictor plate racing was at the beginning of August at Daytona, the old version of Daytona with the bumps and the curvature in the racetrack. So a bit of a flatter, more level playing field, although higher banking here, Finney, and over 30 degrees. It is a tall climb from the bottom to the top of the racetrack. Look at that, all that banking, all that speed. They'll be up over 180 miles an hour with very little time and very little room to make any mistakes.
Yeah, getting ready for these guys to get lined up and getting ready to go at the fastest oval in this hemisphere.
All right.
One of the biggest ovals.
Yes, 2.66 miles around. It's a large racetrack, but the stakes are even larger. 4 races left in 2019 YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour, and Matt Gruenberg with the blue on the spoiler and the splitter, designating the playoff machines. They'll be designated in blue on the left-hand side here shortly on the ticker, but all the way through the tri-oval towards the green flag. The starter has the green flag in hand. Green flag flies, racing at Dega.
Everyone begins to slow crawl as they finally get up to speed. Josh Adams already in the back bumper of Gruenberg, trying to push him out. Tate Lytle, not a lot of help from behind from Dave Hunt.
Everyone trying to find their friends, find their teammates. It's a long race, so strategy is going to play a huge factor here, especially green flag pit stops. I would be surprised if we didn't get at least one set of those. So find your teammates quickly, but I think we might see some side-by-side racing, at least for the first couple laps.
Yeah, a lot of shuffling around, guys moving the order, and already some guys trying to make it 3 wide here at the beginning. 42 of James Miller looking up high.
Yeah, he's going to try to bring maybe Matt Hackathorn with him, and there's the 64 driven by it's Chad Brown in the 64 this season, and trying to work over that 42. It's going to put James Miller up on the high side, but for the top spot, Tate Lytle is going to get a push from Dave Hunt, and maybe Lytle will lead this first lap, but Gruenberg fighting back on the inside. Who's going to lead lap number 1? Tate Lytle, Gruenberg in the line, Lytle by an inch. Through turns 1 and 2, already speeds over 182 miles an hour through the center of the corner, and dead even, top and bottom, everyone really locked up. Whoa, McCorkle, way sideways, car spinning, the 25 of Kolb, hard impact into the inside wall. We're gonna stay green, but that's gonna kind of force everyone to shuffle around quite a bit. Let's quickly take a look at how Kolb got shuffled out. It was the 12 of McCorkle that got sideways, and we'll see how this all ended up panning out. He tagged the 25 and just turned him around. Unfortunate for the 25 of Kolb.
Yeah, it looks almost like McCorkle got a little bit loose coming out of 2.
That's concerning if that was the case, but nothing the 25 could have done. Wrecked here. Thankfully, hit safer barrier. If you might be able to get that repaired to at least some level of competency, but that might be all she wrote for the 25 tonight. Lap number 3 already, and Tate Lytle drops to the bottom in front of Matt Gruenberg. Dave Hunt gets shoved up the racetrack. Here comes Josh Adams to the inside of the number 95 car.
Yeah, Tate Lytle goes low. Gruenberg looks like he's opting to go high, so the leaders exchanging lanes here. As Lytle tries to take the lead here, he's going to have help from Dave Hunt.
McCorkle swings to the outside lane, going to drop to the rear of the field here. Maybe some handling issues for the 12. And now Gruenberg, as you mentioned, jumping up to the outside lane and trying to pull even with the 56. The front row, they basically just swap positions, and here comes Adams and Hunt, pushing their respective driver, trying to get the lead away, trying to get one of these lines dominant and climbing forward.
Yeah, Gruenberg trying to lead a lap for the first time. And it got denied by Lytle the first time through, and across the line they come. Gruenberg will lead that lap.
Again, the drivers in blue are the ones contesting for the championship this season. Of course, Lytle, Hunt, Adams, Hackathorn, Hanshaw not in the playoffs, but Gruenberg, Frankenfield, Thomas, Close, Zielinski, Hill, Hinds, Caple, Darbyshire, all in it and fighting for a chance at a championship. A car on a line that's Chad Brown, dipped below that yellow line. And remember, the last lap, the yellow line, fair game below that, Finney, and you can use that to your advantage on the last lap. And that has come into play a couple times in the past. Double file. How about the 6 of Levi Zielinski? Some awful rotten luck lately in that 6 car.
Yeah, it's not been the best season for him. Definitely has had some better days. Hopefully he can turn her around here. But he's the last driver in the playoffs in 12th. And hoping he can turn his luck around after race number 1. He's got 5 more races to try to turn his championship around. He's got a long way to go.
Hackathorn up the racetrack, 3 wide for a moment. He's going to drop to the rear of the field as well, and that's going to bring Chad Frankenfield up a little bit higher in the mix. He started 9th, the 15 car did, and trying to claw his way forward. Remember, he's got to beat that 54 quite a bit at the end of the season if he wants a chance to beat him in the championship. Tate Lytle swings to the outside lane, now 3 wide for 3rd place. Dave Hunt Chad Frankenfield, and the 95 of Josh Adams, all contesting that spot.
And now 3 wide as Frankenfield goes up top. Sam Close is pushing. Dave Hunt and Tate Lytle stuck in the middle. And actually, here comes Joshua Adams now going to the outside of Gruenberg, joining that middle lane.
Some shuffling, but 3 wide for the top spot, and Adams, as you mentioned, goes to the top spot, and Lytle's going to swing over to the left and try to get the quarter panel underneath there, but he's going to let the 95 in line, and here comes the 15 of Frankenfield to the outside, and they're 3 wide behind the 2 wide for the lead, and here comes the 5 of Sam Close to the outside, but no help. Here comes Sweeting to try to give him a shove.
Yeah, Sweeting's got a really big run. It looks like Gruenberg's dropped off.
And as has the 81 could actually pass the 54, and the 54 going to drop to the rear of the field here. Really slow. He's going to lose the draft if he's not careful.
Yeah, that was actually really slow. He backed off quite a bit, so...
Bit concerned for the 54. He's going to drop off. Well, he has caught a group here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he's joining up with his teammates Darbyshire and Miller, so he does have some people to help him out, and indeed he'll catch them, as well as Corey Lindsay back there.
So he's led a lap, got himself a point, now just going to hang out and click off laps.
Smart.
Adams and Lytle, 1 and 2. Close Frankenfield, 3 and 4. They're side by side behind. And Dave Hunt inside the top 5 here early, but here comes Robert Hill Jr. in the 38.
Yeah, Robert Hill Jr., in fact, he should be inheriting second here, as Cameron Rich is not here tonight. So he's running in third in the points. He'll easily be able to pass second, but again, he's keeping his eye on Matt Gruenberg.
Ooh,
backed up for now.
Breaking the throttle for the 38, just trying to maintain a little bit of a gap to the drivers in front, and there's definitely a safety aspect to leaving a little bit of space and not necessarily be tucked right up underneath that spoiler all the way around. The visibility in these cars is awful following somebody. Let's ride on board. The 6 of Levi Zielinski's following the 53 pretty close. He can't see anything past the 53 when you're lined up right behind a driver.
Whoa. 3 wide again for a moment. Looks like he'll try to block off Sam Close. And close out a check up, and the outside he'll go into the back of the field.
Yeah, Robert Hill Jr. giving the 56 a big shove. That's going to launch Tate Lytle back to the top spot, so dead even for the lead. And Josh Adams trying to use a run on the inside lane. A couple Silverados lined up on the inside. A Tundra leading the outside groove. Johnny Thomas in the 81. He's going to drop back a couple spots here as well.
Yeah, a lot of comers and a lot of goers in the field. A lot of guys going up to the front, figuring it's a little bit too dangerous for now, and then deciding to drop to the back.
Chad Frankenfield in the 15 car. He started 9th up to 4th place, plus 5 early in the going for the 15. Looking racy, but I don't think Frankenfield can afford to just hang out.
Oh, there's a wreck off of turn 4. Dave Hunt around on the apron with McCorkle involved as well.
Both those cars spun out. We're going to stay green. This is really going to hurt Hunt and McCorkle. I think Hunt's protesting, trying to get a yellow flag to fly, but these two, there it is. Finally caution out for the accident out of turn 4. So Hunt and McCorkle, both these cars were running pretty well. And how did they get tangled? Ooh, McCorkle just flat out turned the 53 here, Finian. And McCorkle was also the cause of that incident on the back straightaway. And that was just a little over-aggressive for this early in the race. Wasn't really even close to being clear there. Just slid up the racetrack and ran into the back of the 53.
Yeah, it looks like he wasn't sure if he wanted to go to the inside of the 53 or end up behind him, and then kind of ended up somewhere in between and ended up turning the 53 around. Fortunately for Hunt, he'll get away with just minor damage to his left rear.
Yeah, actually both those cars got away without much damage, so they'll be able to continue. So crossing the line here, first caution out on lap number 9 of 75. We did 4 lead changes at the front of the field, but Josh Adams is currently your leader, not in playoff contention. He's just here to win the race, and that's the challenge here, is that most weeks, if you're not in the playoffs, you have a chance to win the race. But here, everyone's got a shot to win the race, and the drivers that are in the playoffs do not care about the playoff drivers. They're just out here to collect a checkered, and that's going to make things very interesting for those drivers in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, because especially that's why I think we're seeing, we saw Gruenberg went up there, led a lap, was happy with that. Dropped to the back. We probably won't see him back up there maybe until about halfway to collect some bonus points for that, but yeah, because there's no real point in staying up there the entire time. You only really need to stay up there when points are given, which is at the middle and the end of the race.
And we got the gyro cam on board the 95 here, just showing how much the banking is. These cars are really uncomfortable coasting around the banking here at slow speeds. I mean, really at high speeds, the cars are right at home, but they have the tendency to kind of want to just creep down the banking at slow speed. It's actually difficult to walk up, so challenging running slow here at Talladega versus running fast. So will we see pit stops fitting? I don't think so. But what's your thought here?
I think we'll see pit stops just for fuel. Guys, it's not so much the tires. You can pretty much, if you wanted to, you can go to the end of the race on tires. But I think guys might just go on fuel, just to stretch it out just in case, because you never know. It could be a big difference.
All right, well, a little bit of a split strategy. At least Robert Hill Jr. is going to stay out on the racetrack, so already some...
very heavily split strategy, with him being the only driver to stay out.
A little one-sided, I would say, but the field comes down to pit lane. We'll see who takes tires, who takes fuel. I don't think you'll need tires the entire race. I would just take fuel the whole time. I don't think the tire wear is even to be an issue, although my one concern is the track temperature being so hot could accelerate some of that wear. Ooh.
I guess it wouldn't hurt to take right sides.
Josh Adams actually missed his box, had to back up. That will cost him some time. 56 is rolling off the pit lane now, as is the 46 of Kyle Hanshaw. So some shuffling here and there. Off they roll. So Robert Hill Jr. stays out on the racetrack, will lead a lap, but then just drop to the back of the field. I think that would be what would make sense, but that's not necessarily what he's going to do.
No, I could probably see him do it. I think it's almost a death sentence if he doesn't do it, because if we do go green all the way to the point where he has to pit, he'll be the one car coming in down. You're definitely going to want at least some sort of friends, or at least some people to work with here when it comes down to green flag pit stops.
All right, well, Hill Motorsports 38 leads the way. We'll see if he peels off to change anything. So here's another look at our track map. Well, the interesting thing, Finian, and I know everyone knows this if you're watching this, but we have to talk about it, the start-finish line location. At any other racetrack, the start-finish line is right at the apex of that tri-oval. But it changes the way you attack the last lap here, and especially because of the abolition of the below-the-yellow-line rule once the white flag waves here in this series. So once that white flag waves, why is it an advantage, Finian, that start-finish line is later in the lap, especially without that yellow line rule?
Yeah, because you got to use that tri-oval to your advantage. You can easily cut down there, use the shortest way around that little, I guess you can want to call it a corner. You can call it a corner. But it's the shortest way around there, and you can easily try to make a move on the last lap, and not a lot of people might block you. Or some people might block you, Nico. We could have Carl Edwards 2009 all over again, but we'll see if that comes down to it.
I do think that's pretty likely that we'll have an issue if we get to the white flag under green, because we've seen in the past this be an issue. Maybe not necessarily with this series, but in other series, even if you don't have the yellow line rule, or do have the yellow line rule, it still end up with issues. So Robert Hill Jr. will come down to pit lane to get some fuel and maybe some tires as well. You might as well, right? I mean, it won't hurt you to take them.
Yeah, that was a smart call to stay out there, lead the lap, and come on down. So he's pretty much done until about halfway, and that's where he needs to really worry about points, so he can stay out of the mix. And I think he might be probably smelling caution coming from here until halfway, which will be at the completion of lap 38.
Cars crossing the checkered start-finish line, of course. Photo finish is always a common thing here at Talladega, but recently I don't think we haven't really done a whole lot of plate racing recently on SimTV, and other with the exception of Daytona and Fuel kind of doing Daytona and Fuel, or ORL and Fuel doing Daytona kind of back to back, and they both had pretty entertaining finishes. But we haven't seen a truck race here in quite some time. And not since 3Wide last ran at Daytona 07 back in August. So it's been almost 2 months since we've done a truck series race. And of course, this drafting package isn't quite as effective as the new Cup Series drafting package. So I think you have to be pretty aggressive and have some help if you want to get the job done on the last lap.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need some sort of help, but could have been a lot worse. Could have been the old Cup package.
All right, well, long cautions here at Talladega, as they typically are, but let's take another look at our race information so far. We've had 6 lead changes, 2 of them happening under the yellow flag. We've had 1 caution for 1 very long lap. They take about 2 minutes and 11 seconds to complete. We should be coming to the green here next lap around.
They should really pace at like 100 miles an hour.
I
probably said this several times before. They should really just... They should enough one, just have a pace car haul ass.
I definitely agreed with you on that before. I mean, it's not... Obviously, you don't want more issues to happen under caution, but, I mean, this track is just super long.
100 miles an hour. That's not really fast for these guys here.
No. So So we'll see what the situation is. We'll probably end up taking breaks during the cautions, just so that we have a chance to stop talking for a little bit, and just so everyone has a chance to go get up and get a nice cold Coca-Cola. Right, Finian?
Sure.
I'm a Coca-Cola shill after tonight, man. I want my Kokomo Bottling Company, or whatever it is. What did we agree?
CCBCK.
CCBCK, the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Kokomo, Indiana, who sponsors the MyLaps Indy Elite Series we just got off the broadcasting.
So Indiana, I gotta slap an eye on the end there.
The CCBCKI?
Yeah, sure.
Oh boy. That sounds like a really bad disease. All right, across the line, lights on the pace car. Do they shut off this time through? They do. Be another 2 minutes before we'll see the green flag. All right.
Oh, Lytle taking the outside lane. Kyle Hanshaw taking the inside.
This is an interesting choice to me. But I guess we'll see how the lane choice factors in later in the night. But I would think with these trucks, the inside would be the place to restart. But your thoughts?
I honestly don't even think it's going to matter really as far as geographical position. I think these guys are more concerned about who they got in behind them. So I think Lytle fancies being in front of Chuck Sweeting over Chad Frankenfield.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know, prefers.
These restrictor plate broadcasts always end up having really interesting banter. Just because we at the time you spend under yellow, you got to talk about something. But fancy? He fancies it?
What? Yeah,
are we in like 18th century England or something?
Well, people say that still.
Are you sure about that?
I think so. I don't know. Well, my parents speak British English. That's what they tell me when they say something weird.
Finian, the British Indian from Long Island. That
with a Irish first name and a Portuguese last name.
There you go. There's a melting pot for you, America. I don't think they meant the melting pot to all be one person, but I mean. Oh man.
That happened to me.
Yep. I'm pretty much about as one flavored as they get. I'm the most uninteresting ice cream cone of vanilla on a cake cone.
I mean, you are zero. If I'm not mistaken, 0.5% Middle Eastern.
0.0. Wait, no, maybe it is 0.5. I have to look at my 23andMe again.
0.05.
I think it's 0.5 Middle Eastern. Yeah, I'm mostly Western European, which is surprising to absolutely nobody. But all right, well, now that we've had time to talk about our existence and Coca-Cola and British English terminologies, let's get back to restarting here to be lap number 14 of 75. A long way to go. Tate Lytle on the outside will have control of the restart. Kyle Hanshaw on the inside in the 46. Toyota versus Toyota. Green flag flies, racing again at Talladega.
Lytle got a fantastic restart. He might even try to pull down in front of Kyle Hanshaw here.
And he will, so the two Tundras will line up astern and leave Sweeting all by himself and out there with a Silverado. And how much does that factor into your decisions, Vinny? And maybe not necessarily teams, but manufacturer. Does that factor in at all, even in a sim racer's mind, or is that just kind of all out the window here?
I would think it's out the window unless guys really prefer Chevy over Toyota, which, you never know.
That could surprising.
that could be a thing for some drivers, but I imagine if anything, it's more for the teams. As Levi Zielinski's lining up behind Frankenfield and Zielinski, that would be big for him if he can get a win out of this.
Riding on board Kyle Hanshaw's truck as we make our way through 3 and 4. The sun glinting off the spoiler of that bright yellow Sour Patch Kids number 6. Here comes Frankenfield pulling even with the 56 car as they make their way to the start-finish line. Who's going to lead this lap? It's going to be, I think, Lytle might have it. No, Frankenfield by a nose.
Frankenfield will get a lead. A lap that's going to be key for him as he continues on, still on the high side in front of Levi Zielinski.
Justin Kolb has retired from this race. Everyone else still running. 21 cars strong as we make our way into this race deeper. 15 laps in of our 75. That is the 1/4 mark. No, 1/5 mark of this race. Mathematics.
Yeah. And in the back, we got Matt Gruenberg, James Miller, Joshua Adams, and Corey Lindsay slowly putting behind the field just in case something were to happen.
Side by side for the lead. Here comes Levi Zielinski in the 6. Could this be the night he turns his season around? It has not been a great season. Whoa! The 56 got on the quarter panel and backed out. He saved the 6 car from near disaster there.
commentator's curse right there. Wow, he almost just got turned into the fence.
He is in the
Very
playoffs.
close.
He is in the playoffs competing for a championship, so it hasn't been a horrible season, but it just hasn't been a great one.
Yeah, I think Zielinski could definitely use a win. It's been a struggle for him in both the Truck Series and the Cup Series. I think he could really use some luck going his way. So far, so good for him.
Johnny Thomas with a big run. He's going to take it to the outside lane. He's going to do nothing with it, though. Here comes the 5 as Sam Close to give him a shove, and Matt Hackathorn coming with him in the Send It sponsored 484 machine, or at least he got Send It on the rear spoiler of that thing. And whoa, Thomas loose on the outside lane, but it's hard to build momentum here in the trucks, and Close bails out.
Yeah, Close is going to say nope and thank you, and he'll get another spot to his name. As Thomas looks like he's going to have to fall to the back of the pack.
What about
inside lane losing a lot of steam?
What about engine temperatures for the 3 of Race Clark pushing? Oh, pulls right in front of the 6 car, and they are just using every inch between these machines. Finian, whoa, contact!
Whoa.
The 3 and the 5 door slamming each other through 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's getting very close quarters between them. Race Clark in that 3 machine, making some very dicey moves, and you see Frankenfield go up top. Clark's going to go low. Zielinski going to be somewhere in the middle.
3 wide.
Door close, and they're 4 wide.
Oh man, I got to calm down, or else I'm not going to have a voice left. And Race Clark is shuffled out, drops into 3rd. Actually, make that 4th place as the 5 and 15 are side by side. I got to calm down. You see Tate Lytle bailing out of this. I got to calm down because I'm not going to have a voice left if I'm screaming every 5 seconds. So Race Clark in 2nd, going to go swing to the outside.
Whoa.
Oh, he gets turned. There it goes.
There they go.
Yep. And Zielinski through the dirt. And is that Frankenfield in it? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's Frankenfield, Zielinski, Clark in it.
And for Zielinski,
no caution.
We stay green.
Yeah, and man, Zielinski. Oh.
Is he going to protest this and stop? Will he get going?
Yeah, he'll get going, but man, he needs some Sour Patch Kids or something.
He needs a Snickers.
It's just been a rough season for him. Not of his own doing, just some really bad luck and stuff like this.
Buddy McCorkle backs up to the 64 at Chad Brown. Johnny Thomas in the bright orange 81 jumps to the top spot. Remember, he is a reigning champion. What's the chances that he comes off of what I would call an unspectacular season and wins a championship this time around? That'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, that would be pretty entertaining, although he's 11th in the playoff running order, 49 points behind Matt Gruenberg. He's going to have to dig himself out of a really big hole, but hey, he can start climbing out of that hole with a win here. All
right, well, they've took him 1 lap to reform, but here comes McCorkle with a huge run to the outside. Maybe some 2-truck tango forming up. That 64 pushed him all the way to the lead. Remember, McCorkle's been at the cause of 2 accidents so far tonight, so maybe some drivers going to be a little hesitant to get up alongside the 12. We'll see how it plays out here. 19 laps into a 75-lap race.
Whoa, Chad Brown getting very squirrely in behind the 12, trying to give him a push. He's pushing him. Oh boy, he's pushing him on the right rear. That's a recipe for disaster as Chad Brown moves to the inside of McCorkle to try to take the lead here.
McCorkle up to the high side, and he's going to probably drop out of this now. Couldn't get the lead, going to back out, try again a couple laps later, but Chad Brown in the 64 goes to the top spot, and the 81 a little bit wibbly-wobbly out of turn 4, but a push from the 5. I don't know what that word was. But I'm making up new ones. 95 loose through the tri-oval. Ooh, the 56 of Lytle right up against the safer barrier with a run to the outside. He's back in 8th place, but with a big run here. Can he do anything with it?
I'm amazed he actually is back in this because he dropped down on the apron to fall to the back, and here he is coming back up to the front within 3 or 4 laps.
And he's going to slot back in front of the 38 of Robert Hill Jr. riding on board with the 56. Dave Hunt maybe going to try to go up the middle. There's Sweeting, and I think that's the 5, a Close on the outside, who's currently leading the race. Well, I thought they'd calm down after that first caution. They have not. They're running super aggressive, and they're making a show out of it. And how about Chuck Sweeting? Whoa, the 64 down on that yellow line for a moment. That got a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, if I'm like Matt and Gruenberg and some of the guys in the back, that's exactly where I would want to be because these guys are getting very squirrely up here.
Close again with a nice run on the outside lane, but the inside in the trucks just seems like the advantage to me, Finney. And I know that the outside can carry some momentum, but it's not that huge of a difference in the trucks. And you see Thomas is now going to take a run from the 64 and that Carhartt-sponsored JTR Chevrolet, and he's going to launch back to the top spot. And Josh Adams inside the top 5 once again, and Close and Sweeting now losing their momentum in the outside groove, and looks like the 53 is going to latch onto the rear bumper of the 5 off into turn 3.
Yeah, Dave Hunt coming with a charge now up the middle. Chuck Sweeting dropping on back as well as Tate Lytle. Now Tate Lytle has died very quickly.
Whoa, whoa!
It's just reformed.
Shaking and quaking out of turn 4, the 81-64. What am I saying tonight?
I don't even know. That's what I was wondering.
I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with some words to describe what's going on, because the 5 car goes up the middle, and there's Kyle Hanshaw, who's had a nice night so far. He's been pretty conservative with his runs and just been kind of here, and this is a good opportunity for him to get a race win. Not in the playoffs, so he's not concerned about winning a championship, just the race. Down the back straight away, 22 laps complete. Dave Hunt is really committed to that middle groove, Finney, and he's going to make it work at some point if he has some help, but nothing so far.
Yeah, he's been really enjoying just throwing it up the middle there and getting a push or pushing someone up through there, but looks like he's going to settle in behind Sam Close for now. Maybe he can work something with Tate Lytle, although Lytle looks like he's fine being on the outside in behind the 5.
Chad Brown up the middle with a great run, carrying a lot of speed, but now he has to back off because he doesn't want to drill the 53 in the rear bumper. High side, Johnny Thomas, Sam Close shoving each other, and they're going to pick the middle of the racetrack this time through.
Tate Lytle being conservative up on the top side. I think he just kind of stay out of it, make sure he doesn't get quite involved with other stuff, but he's got Mac Hackthorne now giving him a shove to the front.
So what's the thought process? To me, I've always thought at plate tracks, the inside's the safe line because you can bail and miss all the wrecks. If you're in the outside lane and a crash happens, it goes up the banking. So, I mean, I would think if he's going to try to be safe, you want to be right on the bottom yellow line. Would you disagree?
Yeah, I think usually because the outside lane, you could typically back off if need be. There's not a whole lot of guys sometimes. So I think that's where he's just looking at, although it looks like we've got a race up in the front.
I'd say we do have a race, Finney, and 3 wide for the top spot. Hanshaw on the bottom, and Josh Adams in the middle. Dave Hunt on the top, the outside lane losing some momentum. Sam Close bails for the middle of the racetrack, and now Josh Adams trying to carry a run from the 64 of Chad Brown, who was about 15th 2 laps ago, and shoves the 95 to the top spot.
And Chad Brown's going to dish the 95 into the inside. He will go. And that'll leave Adams right in front of Chuck Sweeting. It looks like Chuck Sweeting doesn't want to be in behind Josh Adams. Or he is actually going to be behind.
Yeah, it's going to be forced to tuck in there unless he wants to go 3 wide. And rocketing out of turn 4. Closing in on the 1/3 mark of this race. Next lap by Chuck Sweeting in the 26 on the outside. That's the 56 to Tate Lytle in the middle.
Lytle with a fantastic run. He's going to get around everyone and try to get to the inside of Chuck Sweeting. He will, but can't get past Joshua Adams, who will be in second.
You know what I'm noticing right now is how disorganized or unorganized this pack really is. I don't think the outside or the inside of the middle groove is any better than the other. They're just kind of all over the place looking for runs and carrying them wherever they can get them, and it's making for a very chaotic race right now.
Yeah, in fact, actually, Tate Lytle, he went from 10th to 3rd in 1 lap.
That's really impressive.
That's some shades of Dale Earnhardt right there.
Had 11 lead. Okay, I don't know about that, but
I mean, we've had as in moving up the order.
Okay. That in the outside lane, that's Levi Zielinski going 1 lap down, and unfortunately lost the draft in that last collision. No caution for that. We've had 1 caution, 11 lead changes, which is roughly 1 every couple laps. And now the action beginning to die down for just a moment, and Lytle's going to make me eat my words here as Chuck Sweeting's going to try to push him around, and that outside lane gaining some momentum now. Got some good trucks up there.
Whoa! Sweeting with a big wall off, too. These guys are really loose off the corners.
Yeah, and another look at our track conditions. It has dropped a little bit, but still 125 degrees. I don't think there's that much grip out there, even though it's a restrictor plate track. He's still sliding. There's something wrong with that 26 truck. He's just all over the place.
It looks like when they're trying to move, across the track, I think that's where the problems arise. They have enough grip to make it through the corner, but when they start to move and dart around in the corner, especially on exit, that's where they're getting really loose.
Third of the way through this race as they cross the start-finish line at 187 miles an hour, at least for the leaders. 189 off into turn 1 for Tate Lytle as he takes the lead away from Josh Adams, but he's not going to be able to clear him. Adams and Chad Brown with the shorter run on the inside right against that yellow line. That is their best friend to make speed. Pulling dead even here. What about a Sim TV sound surge here, Finian?
I think that's perfect.
All right. Saw Chad Frankenfield going a lap down there. His night gets worse after that collision on the front straightaway. He's going to slot back in the draft here. He's still got a chance to get some of those, or that lap back and get back in the hunt here, but this is not a good start for the 15.
Yeah, it really is, and especially being in that championship hunt, this is going to be not entirely going his way. In fact, he's actually not in position to get that lap back. The driver who is Levi Zielinski.
So battling up at the front, everything's kind of calmed down just a little bit right now, Fidian. So is it too early to pick a favorite? Because I don't know if we've really seen anybody dominate so far. I think Sam Close in the 5 has looked pretty good. But, you know, there's some other cars out there that have been up front all night long, and the 53 of Dave Hunt included in that.
Yeah, Hunt's actually been surprisingly good. He's pulled some fantastic moves off. So I think he might be one to watch. That'll be amazing to see him get his first one.
And he was crashed, too. Remember, he spun out earlier in the race. He got turned by the 12, and he's back up here inside the top 5 right now. So he's been really impressive. I expect that to continue. And look at the 56 swinging to the outside now in front of the 44.
And Lytle going to get a shove from Matt Hackathorn, push him to the lead. Poe's going to go up the block, though.
Can't make it. Too late. He's going to get swamped by the 56 and the 44.
Lytle looks like he's going to dish the 44 and come down in front of Sam Close.
Couple Tundras there, line astern on the back straightaway. The 44 of Hackathorn now has Chuck Sweeting on his rear bumper. They're pretty disorganized, though, in the 6 car is Zielinski. Remember, he is a lap down. He's actually in the free pass position. He's fighting the 15 of Frankenfield, who's at the tail end of this pack. So Levi Zielinski's got to race hard if he wants to get a lap back when the caution comes out.
Yeah, I would say both of them side by side right now for that spot. So they're fighting for it right now.
Yes, they are. And the start-finish line this time through, it's going to be Close and Lytle side by side. I think Lytle might nose ahead here right at the end of the lap. It's going to be Close at the line by an inch.
Oh, we're 3 wide. Whoa, Zielinski and Frankenfield dooring each other.
Yeah, well, of course, they got to fight pretty hard, and the chances of a caution happening pretty high right now with how close everything is at the front.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you also don't want to be the caution or be involved in the caution, because that will take away that wave run from you.
So there's a lot of cars that are fighting some damage already. The 5 of Sam Close, take a look at his left front. He's got a pretty big crinkle there on the nose of his car. I wonder if that's affecting him at all. Doesn't really seem like it, but I think if you hit square on the radiator, it certainly is going to hurt your car, or your truck rather. A couple other trucks throughout the field. Chad Frankfield's got some damage. I think there saw some shuffling going on. I got to, throw everybody's heads around there for a second, but got a little dramatic there in the middle of the pack. We got it sorted out. 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Josh Adams to the outside.
Yeah, we took Sweeting, though, that'll lead that lap by 21 thousandths of a second over Joshua Adams.
This is a really tight pack here.
How about Cogswell coming out of nowhere in 4th?
Yeah, again, this has not really been a great season for Cogswell, but solid night tonight. Started 19th towards the tail end of the field. Now, there is some lap traffic coming up, Finian. We're 3 wide. I don't think this is going to work out great unless somebody gives.
On that lap traffic is Matt Gruenberg and James Miller. What on earth happened to them? Did they pit?
They did pit, actually. Some strategy there by the one sim cars, and now everyone's going to have to get around them. This is going to get a little messy, so hopefully we get through this without incident. Decent spot to catch him, and there's a trial that's pretty wide, but it's going to get real tight here. The 81 of Johnny Thomas is actually going to lift and maybe slot in behind Miller and Gruenberg. Oh, this is dicey. We're 4 wide. Oh, no, there they go! And that's the 15 car in the middle of it. And Tate Lytle goes around, closes around. They all pile up in turns 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, rather. And Dave Hunt's out of it. Corey Lindsay's out of it. And they're still crashing out here. That's Robert Hill Jr.'s torn up. Sam Close, that car's done. And we knew that was going to be a bit of an issue with how they were running, but too many cars, too small of a space. Let's take a look again from a slightly different angle. We'll try to do this from as many angles as we can. I think it was the 53. Yeah, we'll have to get a slow motion look at this. What a mess this was. And Levi Zielinski just managed to get through this as a junkyard piles up behind him. But, so this actually starts, I think, with the 53 car. And you're going to see him kind of get squeezed by the 15. Just 2 trucks going for the same spot there, and they tangle.
Yeah, I think Frankenfield's trying to get a run, and maybe was trying to follow him behind. Cogswell clipped the nose of the 53, and around he went, and that kicked off everything. And
Corey Lindsay drills the side of the 53 car here. Here's another angle. And we caught that a little late there, so let's jump back a little farther. And here's another look. So the 15 is kind of crowding the 53. Again, the spotters don't report 4 wide, so I don't think that's really anybody's fault, Finian. I mean, if you're more than 3 wide, it's just luck and how much room everyone's giving each other. I don't really think you can put that on one car. Chad Brown took a heck of a lick to the outside wall, rather. I'll get another look at that here. Look at the hit that the 64 takes here. He's going to get tagged in the right rear. Big impact. Almost goes up and over. Robert Hill Jr. involved in that as well. Let's look at this in full speed again here from a couple different perspectives. Here's on board with the 38. That was a big portion of the field, too.
Yeah, it took out a lot of big drivers as well that were running pretty well up until that point, but drivers coming in down a pit road, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Gruenberg should be the driver that will receive the free pass.
Yeah, that's going to split the one sim teammates.
Yeah, although I imagine they're probably going to stay out and get the
they should get a wave around here, yep. So again, we're watching on board. This is the double zeros perspective here. And not much. The double zero almost had no time to react to this and hits the 56, and then he's going to drill the 53 in the door. So not what you wanted to see, but not really much you could do to avoid this one. I think we got everybody. Richard Hinds doing the Richard Hinds thing and missing it all, as he has done most of the time this season. Gets on through. All right, let's update you on the running order here. Looks like Adam, Sweeting, Cogswell, Thomas, McCorkle, your top 5. I think that's how we've sorted everything out. Johnny Thomas, I think he got some damn... Actually, you know what, Finny? That car doesn't look all that bad, does it? The 81.
12?
The 81 truck. Got through that pretty good, all things considered, and as did the 2 of Richard Hinds.
Yeah. It did surprisingly get through there pretty well.
Pretty solid driving there by the 81 and by the 2 of Richard Hinds. All right, so caution out for the second time tonight. Let's take a quick look at our race information. 15 lead changes. This is our second caution in 36 laps. And just about the halfway point of this race. We're going to jump to break, though, just to take a quick break before we head back to green so we get a chance to rest our voice. We'll be back with you in just a moment. Here's a word from our sponsor, MyLaps.
To get the best result, it's all about ambition, hard work, and doing the right things right. In 1982, two Dutch brothers invented an automatic way to time RC races. The system of the company, called AMBIT, was quickly adopted by pro racing series like NASCAR and IndyCar. Automated timing for mass participation sport events was also invented in the Netherlands by Champion Chip in the early 90s, giving athletes a personal chip time of their performance. In 2008, the two companies joined forces and MyLap's sports timing was born. We never stop innovating with state-of-the-art timing systems and digital services to enhance the event experience. With our X2 platform, we bring motorsports timing to a whole new level with two-way communication. Our event app and photo video create the ultimate event experience for athletes and fans with live data and personal content like photos and videos. SpeedHive provides a pro-level racing experience for amateur and club events by analyzing personal data. We capture performances of over 20 million racers and athletes every year and use live data to spark emotions. MyLaps. Experience progress.
Welcome back live to Sim TV. The YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour playoffs continue. Round 2 of 6 from Talladega Superspeedway. Josh Adams and Chuck Sweeting lead the way here, 38 laps into our 75-lap race. We've had 2 cautions so far. One of them earlier in the race for a car wrecked on the backstretch, and our second one recently for a crash in turns 1 and 2. And that's led to a couple more cars getting involved. There was a few retirements to tell you about. Chad Brown, Robert Hill Jr., Corey Lindsay, Race Clark, and Justin Kolb. They're all retired out of the race. We've got 17 trucks running in the race. We got 14 of them on the lead lap. Levi Zielinski and Chad Frankenfield, they are still 1 lap down. And so Chad Frankenfield was unable to receive the free pass because the 54 Matt Gruenberg got the free pass. He's back up on the lead lap, so that is not going to be good for the 15 car to have the points leader kind of keeping the 15 car down like this. So we'll see how this all pans out, but coming to the restart here shortly. Adams got Johnny Thomas lined up, so we got a trio of Silverados, and then on the bottom there's another trio of Silverados. Then it's a pair of Toyota Tundras behind them, and then a bunch more Chevys, a bunch more Toyotas in behind that.
Yeah, it's a sextet of
oh boy.
Silverados? Is that a group of 6?
I don't know. We're green again, though. Dave Hunt did not get a good restart in the 53, and it really hated it for him. He's going to be down on power and down on everything after that collision. It was probably a truck that could have won the race tonight. Ended up in smoke earlier in that collision. He's still running, but not very well.
Yeah, I'm curious in seeing how many raceable trucks we got left.
Well, you know who I'm picking to win this race? Johnny Thomas in the 81. He's won at restricted plate tracks before. He's the reigning champion, rather. I think this orange 81 is going to be the one to beat, but he's going to have to beat Josh Adams, Chuck Sweeting, and a couple other good trucks. But that wrecked a lot of our good trucks, Vinny, and that's going to leave Cogswell and Richard Hinds and a couple others really in a position to win a race, steal a race away. So there's a lot of names that could get their first victory maybe ever in 3-wide competition tonight.
Yeah, guys like Cogswell, McCorkle, licking their chops. This is an opportunity for them. Even guys like Hanchett who just get another win in general, as he gets a nice run in behind McCorkle. Going to pull to the outside. He's got Chuck Sweeting in behind.
Whoa!
And Thomas going to join up top.
He just swung all the way to the outside lane and jumped in front of the 46 of Kyle Hanshaw. That kind of checked up the outside line. Here comes Cogswell up the inside. He's going to latch onto the 95 truck. And that'll be first and second place. And Cody McCorkle on the inside. Remember, he got in a couple collisions earlier. Since then, he's been squeaky clean. So running in 5th right now. Off into turn 3 now. Johnny Thomas building a run now. So he backed up that outside groove, and now he's got a run coming forward. So that has all worked out for him. He's going to try to get clear of the 95. Going to need a bigger push from the 46. How about Kyle Hanshaw? He's survived. Maybe he's capable of winning a race here tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely got a solid shot at doing so.
Off into turn 1 now, side by side. I don't think any line's going to pull ahead of either, Finney, and these have been so even all night. It all depends on the quality of the cars pushing you, and granted, the first top 10 or 12 cars all in pretty good shape, but Johnny Thomas getting a little sideways with a push from the 46.
Yeah, now the top 2 lanes clear by 2 cars. Let's see what happens. Johnny Thomas pulling down low. Hanshaw going to stay up high.
And now Hanshaw is going to bring a push from Chuck Sweeting in the Mystery Motorsports 26. Whoa! Cogswell up the racetrack just a little bit, maybe trying to get a bit of a side draft off the quarter panel. We saw that earlier with the 12 and I think it was the 53, and that didn't work so great. Ooh, Kyle Hanshaw now getting a shove from the 26 off center. Got to watch that offset there on the bumpers.
Chuck Sweeting was looking to the outside of Kyle Hanshaw. It's going to make them lose a little bit of steam here as here comes Johnny Thomas. Being pushed by Joshua Adams on the inside.
Matt Hackathorn in the 44. He's kept his truck clean all night long. Maybe he's just laying back here just a little bit to keep himself out of harm's way. He could be a threat to win this race. Closing in on 30 laps to go here shortly. And that's when, typically when we get to 30 or 20 to go, that's when, to me, the intensity always seems to ramp up. That's why our ticker changes from saying lap 42 of 75 to 20 to go in about 10 to 15 laps, because that's when the intensity is going to ramp up. That's when drivers are going to stop giving and start taking here.
Yeah, we only got 9 trucks on the lead lap in this pack, and then also throw in the lap car of Levi Zielinski, who's just trying to hope for another caution coming to get his lap back.
And Hanshaw is going to take a huge run to the outside of the 81. Look at the run he got. He's going to power around the 81 of Thomas, but can he get clear of him? Not quite. You need a pretty big push to overcome that inside lane. It is that much shorter around. Richard Hinds sits 5th right now. Remember, he negotiated that big wreck in turns 1 and 2, swung on through. He's been so good at missing the wrecks all year long and put himself inside the top 5 now. Maybe he's one to watch at the end. Started back in 20th place. He's up 15 spots. Right on the bumper of the 26. Everyone kind of behaving themselves here, and this is probably the calm before the storm, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, it's a good shot. It's a good thing for these guys just to play calm at the moment. You know, there's not a whole lot of guys running left, and if they can make it to the end, they can all fight it out for the win there.
Side by side still for the lead, and really no one's got a huge advantage here. The outside lane's got more cars, but I think the inside lane with that shorter way run, and also with a strong truck out front in Johnny Thomas, I thought they were going to prevail, but then the 12 truck backed off, and that gave the 46 and 26 a big launch out front, and Chuck Sweeting's going to make the hard left down to the yellow line, and the 46 will stay high. Thoughts on that decision?
Yeah, interesting. It looks like he's just preferring the outside lane. Chuck Sweeting coming back up. It looked like Johnny Thomas on the backstretch was going to make it 3 wide. Looks like we're going to be 3 wide anyway. Here comes
boy. Here we come. 3 wide for the lead. Johnny Thomas going to rocket to the front. Now it's 3 wide for third place behind as Josh Adams inherits second. Lap 45 of 75. About 26 minutes of green flag racing remaining. And the 6 of Levi Zielinski is just ahead. Whoop, some bobbling and weaving up towards the front here again.
Yeah, Cogswell getting really opportunistic with the side draft. Almost George Callahan, who's stuck up there by himself for now. Here comes Matt Hackathorn to help him.
Yeah, Matt Hackathorn in that 44. I said it just a couple laps ago. He's been pretty conservative so far tonight. Hasn't put himself in bad positions. This is a strong run for the 44. Again, he's not in playoff contention, so anything less than a win is a loss for him tonight. And that means that he's going to be a lot more aggressive later in this race, but with 30 laps to go, there's some lap trucks on the outside lane coming up. And I think, is that Chad Frankenfield up there? Or is that Dave Hunt?
Dave Hunt.
Dave Hunt in the 53. One of the strongest trucks tonight involved in that wreck earlier, and he's going to go a lap down. Levi Zielinski right behind the 44. He's in the free pass position and hoping for an accident behind him, but there's not that many trucks running this race, Finian, so if there's a caution, chances are at least some of these trucks up front are going to be in it, so you got to be cautious. But Levi Zielinski, he's racing. He just wants to race his way back to the lead lap and not have to get gifted it.
Yeah. Well, on the bright side, I mean, there's only other competition for the, for that free pass position is Chad Franklin, who was way off the pace, putting around 160 miles an hour. So Zielinski doesn't have to worry about that. In fact, they're actually approaching Frankenfield here. They're only about a quarter of a lap behind.
So a bit of a accordion effect there as the lines are kind of shifting, but look at the run the 44 car has. Hackathorn with a big run on the outside lane, but will he stall out with no push from the 46? I think Henshaw's got to get right up on that rear bumper of the 44 and push him to the top spot.
See what he does, but Thomas looking really to be one of the favorites here towards the end here. He's been really dominant on the front. Not a whole lot of people gotten past him. Even Joshua Adams looking pretty good too.
Oh, squeeze to the outside lane. Henshaw up the outside, right next to the concrete wall. He's going to get a run to the outside of the 44, but no help. It's not going to work out.
That messed up the entire outside line, that move there, but that was very close between them. Henshaw pretty much almost got put into the wall there by Hackathorn.
And now the front 6 all single filed, actually front 5 rather. Some movement around near Chuck Sweeting as he jumps to the outside in front of Hackathorn. And everyone kind of getting bolder and bolder as these green flag runs go on, Finian. The calm happens and then everyone starts getting greedy, and that's what's happening now.
Well, we have another big wreck. I don't know who's going to be left in this race because we only got 10 cars in this pack as it is.
Well, we've seen restrictor plate racetracks come down to only a few cars before. I just want to see enough cars left at the end of the race that we get that yellow line rule kind of coming into effect. That's always an entertaining way to finish your race. Hackathorn to the outside, and Hanshaw is all by himself again trying the outside groove. He's got to find a friend though, Finian. You can't do Talladega by yourself. Yeah,
actually, we were talking about Frankenfield earlier, and the field going to put Frankenfield another lap down.
Yeah, this is not the night that the 15 car needed. And Matt Gruenberg is at the tail of this field, and he's managing his points lead very nicely, as long as he can get a half-decent result here at the end of the night.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's just hoping to come across the line. I think he wouldn't even be too mad if he came home at 11. That's still pretty good, considering guys like Robert Hill Jr., who is third in the points, struggling. Cameron Rich obviously not being here, and even Frankenfield, too, running into problems.
Yeah, certainly it's going to shake up the points quite a bit. Again, there's no resets, there's no eliminations, it's just 6 races. Whoever's best at the end of those 6 races will be champion. The defending champ is in that orange truck on the outside lane. Johnny Thomas, I don't think he was necessarily a favorite going into Homestead last year, but certainly one of the strongest drivers of the season. Ended up walking away with a championship. Certainly not one of the strongest drivers this season, but you only really need to be strongest in the last 6 races to win the championship. Some more shuffling. Now the 81 and 95 on the outside lane in front of Hanshaw. This 46 car, I'm watching him. He seems like he's so versatile, but he needs to find some friends if he wants to win this race.
Yeah, and I don't think he's definitely going to find a friend of the 44 after what happened a lap or 2 ago.
No, and that you know, restrictor plate racing is a lot about trust, Finian, and you have to build that trust. You get 75 laps or 74 laps to build trust, and you got 1 lap to destroy it at the end of the race. And if you destroy that trust anytime before that, you can bet your ass they're not going to trust you on that 75th lap. So coming to 25 laps to go, beginning to run out of time. Who's got trust in who?
It's funny because this race, it sounds like this race is doing a team building exercise.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. And tonight, I don't think anybody ever really leaves Talladega wanting to shake the hands of the driver next to him. Usually,
no.
At least there's somebody that's angry. It's a lot like a road course in that respect. You're always mad at somebody. Accathorn popping out of line. Try to drag Sweeting with him, and he will. And Hanshaw jumps out to join.
Yeah. So outside lane has appeared yet again. Does Adams or Thomas decide to go up there? I think Adams is debating it.
He's not going to have time. Does Thomas jump? No, he will not. So look at the run that Hanshaw got. That is a 7-mile-an-hour difference between these. Oh, he gets turned in front of the field, and around goes the 46. And the 9.
And Hinds as well.
Oh.
Although he won't get any damage, but
a big mess on the back straightaway, and there goes a bunch of.
There goes half the field.
Yep, that literally is half the field.
So we went from half to another half. So that's a quarter left.
Well, let's see how this one started. Offset was wrong. And the 95 got turned as well. And Adams, he actually managed to keep that truck. Did he end up hitting anything? I think he slid off the racetrack with just a little bit of contact there with the 26. But this was all when the 46 got turned in front of the 44. Everyone tried to miss it. Gruenberg was able to miss all of it. Chuck Sweeting in it, Richard Hinds in it. Caple might have snuck through there. And here's a look from the back or the front straightaway side. Oh, such a big hit for the 46. And here is a little look in slow motion as we see the 46 car right on board the rear here. Actually, let's go TV2 once again. And we're going to watch the 27 of Jonathan Cogswell because I think he just narrowly misses this. 46 get turned, bounces off the wall, almost up on his roof. And watch the 27. Watch this. Right through it and just misses. He might have gotten a little bit of contact there with the 95. Let's go back right on board with the 27.
No, he didn't get any on my screen. At least he completely avoided him, so.
Woo! Wow, what a move that was. And Cody McCorkle, I think, also got through this pretty well. Here's his view. Just turns hard left, and there's cars slipping and sliding. There's Hinds up the racetrack. And woo. And Hinds almost, I think Hinds almost missed significant damage.
He missed the initial accident, but had some contact with Rusty Caple in the 9 after.
He just spun out because he was trying to miss it, got on the pavement, slides up the racetrack, and he's going to slide down the banking again, and this is where he's going to get hit by Caple right at the end there, and that's going to be big damage to him.
Yeah, they hit each other by the wheels, so it's going to be damage to both those cars.
You know, who else got involved here, Finian? Levi Zielinski.
Yeah, his car's done. He's smoking.
Oh, no, he didn't. Here's another look. Pops out of line just at the wrong time. Change lanes and drills the 44 in the rear bumper. And that pretty much destroyed that car. All right, third caution of the night. And that shook up quite a bit of things. Now, I think it's clear to me that the 81 is the driver that I think will end up winning this race. But you object in any way?
No. Just on the fact that there's almost no one left.
So, officially retired out of this race, Qualfon back, Hackathorn, Sweeting, Caple, Frankenfield, Zielinski, Close, Hill Jr., Brown, Lindsay, Clark, and Kobe. And 11 drivers still running, although I would say probably about 8 of those might be in condition to win this race.
Yeah, there's a big mixed bag. Because Dave Hunt's car is done. Looking through the rest of these guys, I mean, I guess most of them have got something. Don't know how Lytle's truck's going to handle.
Yeah. Well, this is how Talladega is sometimes, Finian. I mean, sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball, and sometimes everybody's the batter ball, and on the back straightaway, we look like we're going bowling back there. And, strike. So. What?
You started off with a baseball analogy.
Touchdown. Well, you know, the more I think about it, crashing a race car is kind of like hitting a bowling ball with a baseball bat, isn't it?
Oh God, that sounds painful.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's not fun hitting the wall at 180 miles an hour, Finney. And I don't know if you want to jump in there and do it, but I sure don't. So, I mean, I guess the only danger is if you got a direct drive wheel, but I don't. Sponsor me, please, somebody. AccuForce.
Go check.
All right. Well, Josh Adams is still running. He kind of saved that car from significant damage.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how it is. I mean, it looks like he's all right. Yeah, I actually only got damage to the rear, so should be fine and able to continue on. Can't say that about most of the other guys.
No. All right, we should restart with 20 laps to go. Is there any patience here on out, Finian? I mean, we're down to really 8 cars or 8 trucks that have... I mean, at this point, I mean, the worst you can finish right now is 12th.
I think if anyone's gonna have patience, maybe Matt Gruenberg, because if he finishes decent at this point, he's gonna walk out with a huge points lead and pretty much solidify his championship in his name. So
yeah,
the rest of the guys, though, I think it's gonna be all out, because looking at the order, you know, guys like Johnny Thomas, Cogswell, McCorkle, Darbyshire, Adams, a lot of these guys have not won a race this season in either series. I know Adams has. So I'm not too sure about Johnny Thomas. So a lot of these guys could be going for their first win here this season, even in the series. So I think it's going to be very chaotic for those guys up in the front.
I want to pose a question to you. Do you think that we will have more than 5 cars finish this race, or less than 5 cars finish this race?
Let's see, how many laps we got left to go? 20? Yeah, I think we might finish with less. There's a good shot.
I think it'll be clean and green until the last like 2 laps. Then I think we're all going to lose our minds. That's how restricted play racing has been in 3-wide this year. But you know, like I said, bowling and strike. So pretty good game that they're playing out here tonight. Well, if you missed earlier tonight, the Indy Elite Series was at ISM Raceway, and they had kind of a similar situation, but pretty entertaining race. So if you haven't caught up with some open wheel action, that is now up on our channel from earlier tonight.
Yeah, it actually, since I was actually bringing the IndyCar series up, and since these cautions are so damn long, I'm going to go off on a little bit of tangent here. So for a lot of people, folks at home, don't know, IndyCar actually planned a race at Talladega.
Folks at home?
Yeah, what? You seriously never heard of that one?
Folks at home. What was the other thing you said earlier? Fancies?
Fancy. Yeah.
Finian is an 18th century iron worker, confirmed. Yeah, so as you were saying, IndyCar at Talladega, that almost happened, yeah.
Well, Jesus, I'm fine.
Well, you gotta elaborate. You can tell your story now. I wasn't making fun of you.
Because you interrupted my story. All right. So, yeah.
Oh boy.
So back way back when, not in the 18th century, but the 1980s. In 1980 specifically, IndyCar planned on having a race at Talladega, and it was actually put on the schedule. Everything was said and done, but and really the reason that they did it is because they were competing with CART at the time, and that's a whole another tangent about open wheel racing. But it was 2 competing series, and IndyCar wanted to take the one up on them, so they said, "Yeah, we'll go to Talladega." And then eventually they backed out of it because I'm sure every driver would probably not have shown up because a lot of people would have died if they went to Talladega.
I say let's do it.
But actually, IndyCar actually did actually run a race at Daytona when the track first opened up, and I think you can imagine how that went.
I think we should bring it back. We should bring it back. bring it back, make it a 24-hour endurance race.
Considering how hesitant IndyCar is running at ovals, I doubt I don't know.
Let's put plates on. Let's put restrictor plates on them, and let's run them backwards on the oval.
Tony Stewart? Is that? I think it's Tony Stewart's idea.
We can run them upside down. Put a roof on the entire track and run them upside down.
Oh yeah, I need to find. I was trying to. I was thinking about it earlier. I need to find the broadcast we were talking about. That was.
Oh, the upside down racetrack or the running in a tube. I think it was an Iowa. Yeah. It was the Iowa. It was an IndyCar race in Iowa. I think is what it was.
That's what I was thinking too. I was running it.
Was it 3-wide? I think it was 3-wide. It was either that or the Scars IndyCar series back when that was a thing. But I think it was 3-wide.
Throwback.
So, anyway, coming to the restart here. 20 laps to go. This race will take about 18 minutes to conclude from here. It's 10:54 on the eastern coast. That means we'll conclude roughly around 10 after 11 here. Maybe 15 after 11. All things said and done. If we get another crash, well, we're running out of trucks. Rusty Caple has rejoined the racetrack 2 laps down. He's
we only have
13.
9 on the lead lap. So, very small field at the moment. I don't even know how many of these guys actually can keep up with the field, but we'll find out here.
Not many. All right, it might be a free-for-all. It might be a chance to lock yourself in as a winner in 2019. It might be a chance for Gruenberg to extend his points lead as we head to the 3rd round of the playoffs next week. Talladega, green flag, 20 to go at Dega.
And those that are able to get underway as Joshua Adams is going to the inside of Jonathan Cogswell, almost hooked him into the wall.
So now, the 54 Gruenberg and the 42 of James Miller, will they be aggressive? Will they work together? How is this going to work out for those teammates now? Will the one sim cars push now? They really have nothing to lose at this point. I mean, Gruenberg, he's going to walk out with the points lead regardless. The question is, will he walk out with a huge lead, or will he walk out with a win, or walk out with not a huge lead? It's really all it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was Gruenberg, I would just play it at least page until the white flag, and then if something happens, something happens. Because he's running, again, pretty well. He might as well just continue that, because he can walk out of here with a huge point lead and not have to worry about the other 4 races.
19 laps to go. Josh Adams and Johnny Thomas in the outside lane. Those 2 trucks, I think, are the ones to beat. If you don't count out the 54 of Matt Gruenberg, the current points leader, the driver who's led the most races at the end. He's won the most races this season. And he's going to jump up to 2nd place with his teammate pushing him. And that is really the power couple of the truck series right now, Finney and the outside lane locked up together. And there's also Ausin Darbyshire in the 66. That trio is going to get blocked off by the 95. Look at that big block. Oh, no!
No,
there they go!
Darbyshire involved.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no. Oh, man.
From 7 racing trucks on the lead lap.
There goes another one.
Go down to 4.
And there they go.
Oh, boy. And then there were 4.
And the memes begin.
You know, it's looking like the cup race. The cup, it's looking like the Daytona 500.
You know, 3-Wide has had a lot of really good races this season. I wouldn't necessarily say this is going to be up there. Here's a look at it. The 27 and, ooh, the 42 just kind of comes down. And the 66 also torn up in that one. 3-car accident.
And Gruenberg's found the golden horseshoe because he has not been touched by anyone.
Gruenberg
is just been playing this very smart.
Gruenberg plays every race smart, and that's why he's leading the points. But look at this. I mean, this is just a mess. And Johnny Thomas and Josh Adams are just, they're smiling right now because the only truck they really got to beat is the 54 at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the bad thing for Gruenberg, 2 of his teammates just got taken out in one swoop. And remember, they were actually they are known for working very well together. The one team at Super Speedway tracks. They don't have that luxury now.
Does anybody have any luxury right now?
Except for the 4 guys running.
This is
Adams, Gruenberg, Thomas, and McCorkle.
Well, you know, this has been interesting. Tomorrow we do this in the Cup Series, and we'll hope for the driver's sake that they don't have as violent of it. They haven't really had that many incidents. Actually, you know, it's 58 laps in. 4 or 5 cautions isn't abnormal. It's just abnormal how heavy they've been.
I was going to say, they've all pretty much been big ones. That's been the problem.
Yeah, there hasn't been a small one yet.
Yeah.
All right, taking a look at the race so far. Josh Adams leads the way. Here's a look briefly at our race information. 4 cautions, only 4 in 58 laps really isn't that big of a deal. But the problem is how big those wrecks have been. 21 lead changes at the front of the field. That's roughly 1 every 3 laps. Been competitive at the front. Field down on pit lane. I'm not really sure if it's going to make a difference here, though.
Really isn't.
All right. Anyway.
So, yeah, actually, I don't know why I compared it to the Cup race at Daytona. This is pretty much like the truck race at Daytona.
Yep.
The season opener.
So, Vinny, you're home this week. You're enjoying your time off, and I'm here because I didn't want to lug all my stuff back for 4 days. But we got some fun stuff coming up on SimTV this week. So we got Race Kings Cup Series action from Talladega tomorrow. Then Tuesday, we have the Elite Modified Tour from Bristol right before the Fuel Cup Series at Kentucky. I'm looking forward to the Kentucky race. We haven't seen ever Cup cars at Kentucky on SimTV. The only time I've ever commentated Cup cars at Kentucky was actually for LSR TV a couple months back.
Yeah, I honestly, because I've stopped following NASCAR in the later years, but it's been at times where I've almost forgotten Kentucky is on the schedule.
It's a pretty forgettable racetrack if you ask me, but
because it's like they added it in 2011, I believe they added it, right?
Yes, Kyle Busch was actually the one to win the inaugural race there.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool.
The first couple of years, it was good. Like, it wasn't bad the first couple of years, and then lately, it's just been not so great. Ever really since 2015, it's kind of had issues being a really super entertaining race. But, no, I mean, I think after everyone saw the Roval today, yeah, the Roval was a kind of a cluster, but I think we can all agree that road courses are better than oval tracks.
Here's the thing, I feel like the reason the Roval even exists is that NASCAR knew it was going to be a cluster.
I mean, yes.
Cluster expletive.
But I like it.
But no, absolutely. I think it's fantastic. I think it absolutely pretty much deserves, because you almost always want that one race that's just an absolute...
I mean, I'm sure if you're at the racetrack, in the sun today, I don't think, 11 cautions or whatever it was and 95% of the race under yellow, I don't think that would be a whole lot of fun, but... Watching from home, I was out doing a watch party with the Fuel guys, and we were really enjoying just the level of intensity, and Ryan Newman dumping half the field, and Bowman and Bubba, and it was a good race today. You know why it was also fun? Is because my favorite driver wasn't even a factor. It just crashed out early, and it's more fun when you don't have someone you're pulling for, and it's everyone just, everyone's just kind of there. It's more fun to watch a race with no one with no horse in the race, really, It's just fun to enjoy it.
So I'm so bored under this caution, I actually just realized that the flagman actually leaves a shadow on the track.
Does he?
Yeah. If you look at the photo finish cam.
Oh, even the flag does.
Yeah, right?
I mean, granted, the shadows look like they're from Minecraft, but, good
enough.
Got the settings literally maximized to ultra everything, but you know how that goes sometimes. These cautions are long, aren't they?
Yeah,
okay. What else? Oh, just to stir up. So we got about 15 people watching the stream right now, which is honestly more than I would think at this point in the race. But because
the thing is, I think because a lot of the guys crashed out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make them listen to my Watkins Glen thing because I need to share it with the world. So earlier this week, I tweeted Michael Printup, who is the track president for Watkins Glen.
Oh God! Oh, this.
Yeah, this story. And because I think Watkins Glen's the best racetrack in the universe, so I tweeted Michael Printup. I said, hey, when's iRacing rescanning this? I heard rumors. Can you confirm or deny? And last year I asked him the same thing, and he said, no, you'd have to ask the software group about that. We haven't done it. And so this year, all he said was, thanks for being a fan. And I said, that's some sketchy stuff right there, Finian. So I went to the forums. Okay, I went to the forums, and I posted the screenshot of Michael Printup saying, thanks for being a fan, and said, ooh, I think this means that we're getting a rescan Watkins Glen. And everyone was having a nice conversation about it, and then, boom, removed.
Watkins Glen is coming, my dudes.
I find it hilarious that literally anyone that's talked to you for more than 10 minutes would understand or find out that you're a fan of Watkins Glen.
Look, there are few places on the planet that make me as happy as that racetrack.
I want to take a poll and to find out what people know the most about you, and I guarantee that out of all the people that we broadcast for, that they'll know the fact that you love Watkins Glen.
I could probably, honestly, honest to God, if I had the tools to make Watkins Glen, I would sit down in a weekend and I would build that track. I know that they'll never let me do that, but
in what or where?
I
your life?
I just want to do it.
No, but yeah, man, it's quite in real life or when I come in, like.
I don't know. I want it, man. Look, okay, I just think it's bad to me that the most popular road track in iRacing is 11, 12 years old. That's all I'm saying. Now, that goes for all the other tracks too, because I think iRacing actually has an issue with their track database becoming very, very outdated very quickly, and they don't have the resources to keep them all even reasonably up to date visually.
Imagine if if like the iRacing studio, they had like the size of like DICE or like Bungie. You know what I mean? Like all those like really big gaming studios. Imagine if they had like that kind of manpower.
What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying if like the iRacing, like the group, like the people at iRacing, like how they have a relatively small staff.
Yeah.
If they had the staff size of like game studios like Bungie or DICE.
Okay, I thought you meant like the objects, because I don't know those. Oh. I was really confused. I was like, what is Bungie and DICE have? I was like, that sounds like some kind of Daredevil board game. Oh, man. All right, well, yeah. But no, VIR needs a rescan. Atlanta needs a visual update. Texas needs a rescan. Kentucky needs a rescan.
We need night at Atlanta.
We need just things.
I don't know why the hell Chicagoland got night before Atlanta did. That's dumb to me.
Why did we get a Pocono rescan before we got all the good tracks rescanned? I don't know, Finian.
Well, Pocono was pretty easy to remake. I think that's probably why they did it.
Yeah, this is literally just 3 straightaways connected by bad corners.
They have most of the assets that you need to transfer them over for the most part.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's pretty much true though, because I mean Pocono really, like the track changed, but all the other stuff around it didn't really change, so it's just copy paste. If this then that, because that's how coding works, right? I'm a computer engineer, I should know. All right, 14 laps to go. Kind of sad we're going back green with all the banter we're having, Finian.
I know.
14 laps to go here at Talladega. The YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour Playoffs, round 2 of 6. Thomas and Adams, the top 2 right now. They're probably the best trucks left on track. Green flag back in the air.
Yeah, we go back green. Johnny Thomas, he's going to take the lead. He's got Joshua Adams in behind. Imagine they're going to pull to the inside. I'm curious how this is going to play out now.
All they got to do is run away because Gruenberg's got no help. He's going to push the 15. This is an ironic matchup right here, pushing the 15 of Chad Frankenfield. Those two drivers typically at war in the points. Well, they're friendly with each other, but now they're side by side on the back straight. I don't think the 15's got much of a truck.
Yeah, indeed he does it, and Gruenberg is going to work on by him. Even Lytle, too, struggling to stay up to speed, and down to 4 we are, with Johnny Thomas, Joshua Adams, McCorkle, and Gruenberg.
All right, well, we're kind of offset like Blue Angels here in turns 3 and 4. Just a little bit less majestic looking. Thomas, Adams, McCorkle, Gruenberg, you mentioned it, Finney, and really the only 4 trucks left in the race that have any kind of competitive edge here. And across the line, 13 laps to go for Thomas, Adams, McCorkle, and Gruenberg. And my question becomes, how long do you wait? I mean, there's really not much of a risk. If you drop out of the lead, you're going to be 4th. So, I mean, what's the risk in trying to pass with 2 to go versus 1?
I guess a wreck happening. Although if they do somehow manage to cause a wreck with 4 cars, I'll almost be impressed.
I would be careful fitting in with that. Wouldn't be shocking. I mean, again, they haven't wrecked a lot tonight. We're not making fun of them for wrecking a lot. That's not what we're doing. I just think it's kind of funny how few cars we got left.
That's really the hilarious part. I think that we both found.
Yeah, it's not like they've not wrecked more than any other league that's ever run a plate track. I mean, this is normal Talladega racing. It's just you started with 22 trucks and you take out 10 of them in big wrecks, and then you damage a bunch of others. It's just kind of funny when there's only 4 races. It's just kind of a meme.
I don't think we've had a race with this many laps left that have this few cars in a competitive state.
I think that's probably true. I mean, we had that one Hardline Bristol race a long time ago that had like 3 cars on the lead lap.
Less we talk about that, better.
On the back straightaway now, and well, commentary is easy right now, Finian.
Yeah, Gruenberg, it's funny too because there's only 4 cars and Gruenberg's actually still being careful. He's like,
I know. Can you blame the guy? I mean, he's had to dodge left and right all night. Oh man. He's actually starting to lose a little bit of ground here, isn't he? Or is he just... I mean, I don't know how effective the draft is from half a second back, but...
No, it's pretty effective. You can even get it probably from even more than that.
Yeah, he's lifting quite a bit. And he really is being careful. Honestly, if he just wins this race solely by missing crashes, I'll be super impressed with that. But honestly, pretty likely. 11 to go now. 42 of James Miller returns to the racetrack, Finian. Ooh, a damaged teammate to a lead lap car. This could get interesting.
I don't know if he really can do much.
Well, he can be in the way.
Oh,
Around they go.
Yeah, no, honestly, sorry if you're watching this one.
I mean,
look.
Look. All right, let's be real here. All right, when there's, I'm all about professionalism, but sometimes you gotta have a little fun. And you know, and we have to remember these are pixel cars on a pixel screen. It doesn't exist. It's real people, but we're just having fun, and they are too. I'm sure these guys are having fun. I mean, they're probably not thrilled with not having a whole lot of competition, but like at the end of the day, this is all for fun. We'll enjoy ourselves here. And Thomas Adams McCorkle, actually Gruenberg is losing some ground here, so maybe.
I know, I was actually scared that he's gonna lose the drive.
I mean, that would be the ultimate irony.
Oh, he's flooring it.
He's caught back up here. He's good. 10 to go.
Now McCorkle's starting to lose some space.
Yeah, we just don't have a lot to talk about, so we're gonna, you know. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Why?
I woke up at noon today, Finian. I ate breakfast at 1. I'm all backwards. So that's what my life is at right now.
Oh, I went to church today.
You went to church?
Yeah.
So wait, hold on. You're a Catholic Indian from Long Island who's got a Irish first name and a Portuguese last name.
Yes. I'm a weird mixed bag.
Oh man.
I feel the funny thing though I feel is that anyone who actually if anyone reads my name, like for example like for college applications they read my name and everything and it's like, oh okay, it's a white kid, and they look at it and see ethnicity Asian. It's like, what?
Okay, and also just to be the guy, you don't really look Asian either. I know technically that's like the location, but you know, it was fun. It was fun bringing Finney to Grid Life South this year because I brought him around with me into the paddock for GLTC. I don't think half the people knew who he was because he wasn't at Gingerman when I met all these people. So I mean, I brought Jarrett Mackey with me, who commentated some of the Spec MX5 stuff with us, and I think they thought he was you, and they didn't know who you were because you didn't really talk that much. So it was kind of funny. But back straightaway now, and 8 to go, and there's some lap traffic out there. That's Rusty Caple, I believe.
Yeah, there's a Caple. Cogswell just went a lap down.
Look up from high above the speedway, and there is just not a whole lot of the trucks on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, see, this is looking a lot like the old Cup package.
Yes, so maybe Gruenberg's trying to build a run and see. I think he's experimenting right now, trying to build a run to see what he can do. He's backing off and then building a run and trying to drive up to the rear bumpers to see how much effort can he put, because he doesn't have any help. Anything that Gruenberg does, he's going to need someone in front of him to do the same, because he's not going to be able to make a move from 4th.
Yeah, I was going to say Thomas and Adams are working together, but McCorkle and Gruenberg are off to their own devices. So I imagine the 95 and the 83 are going to try to work out some deal to hold off the other two. After that, though, and it's going to be pretty up in the air.
Onto the back straightaway again. Johnny Thomas leads the way, and he has led 17 laps tonight. And actually, that's Josh Adams. Johnny Thomas has led 28. McCorkle's led 1. Gruenberg has led 2. We'll see if anybody can lead the final lap here as we come around to 6 laps to go.
I think the most hilarious thing that'll happen is if these four take each other out and then Hanshaw and Lytle race it out to the line.
They are 20 seconds back.
I don't think these guys are going to lap them. They're going to get pretty close.
I don't even know if they'll lap them. Yeah. They got pretty decent speed. They're going 175 to the leader's 182, so I don't think they will lap them, but you're right, that would be kind of funny. We did see that kind of happen at Talladega in the Cup Series.
We've seen it way more times. We've also seen it Fuel at Michigan. I think we saw something similar.
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen it quite a few times with these guys.
There's more laps left than there are cars competing for the win. So, yeah, Gruenberg, I don't really know what... I mean, again, he's fine no matter what he does here. I don't think there's any pressure to do anything. But if he wants to win, he's going to have to get really creative. I mean, he's got to get at least by McCorkle before he can even consider winning. If
anything, I would imagine that McCorkle and Gruenberg will want to work together at least so they can get past the other two in front. That would be the best solution for both of them.
You think McCorkle and Gruenberg would jump to the outside line, but I don't think they have enough momentum to do that yet.
Yeah, I think if anything, they're going to just be waiting because there's not much point in doing anything in these few laps until pretty much either the second to last one or the last one entirely.
So if you just joined us, 4 minutes left in this race, 5 laps, so that's about what that equals. And through turns 3 and 4, again, we had a couple wrecks, only 4 cautions in 71 laps. The problem is they were big wrecks that took out a lot of cars, and so we're down to 4 competing for the win here. And for Matt Gruenberg, who's tucked in behind McCorkle, he's going to have to get pretty creative to get by these front two, Johnny Thomas and Josh Adams, who have been kind of the mainstays up front since the bigger wreck that happened out in turns 1 and 2 about 30 or 40 laps ago. 4 to go here at Talladega.
Yep, McCorkle's looking like he wanted to go high, but obviously not going to have a lot of help from behind.
Maybe Gruenberg's leaving a gap so when these front 3 start racing, he can just blow by all of them. I mean, I think Gruenberg's in a pretty strong position here if these front 3 decide to race, but if they stay single file, there's no chance that the 54 can do anything about that. He's lifting. He's not pushing right now. So Matt Gruenberg has been as high as first, and he's been as low as 21st, which is second to last. And considering that Justin Kolb crashed on lap 4, Gruenberg has literally been from the bottom to the top of the field more than once over.
Yeah, he's been all over the place tonight.
3 laps
mostly towards the back, which is pretty much why he's one of the only few cars running. Because he's been very, very cautious in his approach to this race, and it's paid off.
I mean, his teammates were also cautious with him, but they ended up getting wrecked too. So even that strategy wasn't quite perfect tonight. And you remember back to the Daytona 07 race a few months ago when that one sim group tried the same strategy. And similar situation happened. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back straight now, lining up for what could be a very entertaining finish if this is done right. Yeah. Could be a very unentertaining finish if they just stay as it is. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for the 4 car, I imagine they're probably not even going to even do much here as you come down to 2 to go. But really, once the white flag's out, race is going to finish no matter what. You're worst you can finish at that point is 6th.
So remember, once
might as well try something.
So in 2.6 miles, remember that yellow line rule that is in effect for most of the race goes away on the white flag. You can pass below the yellow.
Uh-oh, they're catching lap traffic.
Oh, well, okay. How much traffic in their pot? Okay, well, two trucks.
Well, hey, decent amount. There's actually even a 3rd car ahead of them.
Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, they're double filed in front of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're kind of
obstructing
in the middle of the track.
Oh boy, Finian. Well, how are we going to negotiate this? Up the middle, here we come. And Cogswell's going to pull off. That was anticlimactic.
Yeah, that really was. Here comes Darbyshire, though. He's in the middle of the track.
McCorkle and Gruenberg are backing off of the front 2. Maybe they're trying to build a run here. And here, they're going to have a run because the 95 is going to jump out of line. Side by side for the lead. Here they come. White flag in the air, this time by 2.6 miles, and Josh Adams shuffled out. McCorkle the 2nd.
There we go. Very quiet up until now. It's going to kick off now. Here comes Josh Adams to the back. He can't do anything for Thomas. Now Thomas has got 2 competitors in behind him, ready to move.
McCorkle was sideways off into turn number 1. I don't think that truck is very stable. Gruenberg's going to give him a push out of turn 2. On the back straightaway, will we see this rule come into effect? No, we will not. Some shifting and shuffling down the back straight, but Johnny Thomas leads the way. Can anyone wrestle him out of that spot on the back straight?
It looks like nothing much is happening yet. Adams looks like he's sitting in behind, maybe waiting to try to build up a run here. He might have something.
Still a long way to go, almost a mile to the start-finish line. McCorkle jumps up high, but no run for him. Gruenberg back to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get a run on the 81. Here comes McCorkle. They crash at the start, coming to the start-finish line. The 12, the 54. Here comes Johnny Thomas and Josh Adams to the line, and only 2 trucks are going to make it to the finish. Thomas and Adams, 1 and 2. And Matt Gruenberg crashes at the start-finish line. Where's McCorkle?
Oh,
he comes on through for third. And Gruenberg's going to back across the start-finish line as Lytle and Lytle and Hanshaw, they're fighting for 5th place here. They're side-by-side in 3. And they're in another zip code, but Lytle throws a block on Hanshaw. They're duking, they're diving, they're battling to the finish. Bump, a push. Here they come to the start-finish line. Dave Hunt is a lap behind these. It's just these two at the line. Crash at the finish. And they both smack the wall. And Lytle's going to pirouette across the line, and he'll finish 5th. Was that good enough for you, Finian?
I'll take it. We're only 6 trucks on the lead lap. I think I could have been a lot worse. What?
Johnny Thomas, the winner at Talladega. Well, that was something. Your results scroll on the top of your screen. As Johnny Thomas, Josh Adams, Cody McCorkle, Matt Gruenberg, Tate Lytle, your top 5. You know, if you had given me this top 5 at the beginning of the race, I would have said, yeah, that makes sense. How they got that top 5, I don't think
I was
anybody
gonna say
could guess.
when you see the gap is the leader 0.1 seconds, 7 seconds, 10 seconds, and then 35 seconds for the top 5. Yeah, I think that raises a few eyebrows.
Well, certainly this is not going to be a lot of drivers' favorite race of the season, but Johnny Thomas is enjoying himself. He wins, and this is going to be a great points tonight for him. I remember you said he was about 40-something points back from the lead of the point standings. Again, he was a reigning champion, so he needed a good night. Gruenberg comes home 4th after all that. Will probably protect his points lead as the 15 and all the other trucks around. Robert Hill Jr. had a horrible night, finishing 18th. But not great regardless. All right, we're going to jump to break momentarily. Stick with us. You want to hear some interviews. They're going to be fun. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV. The conclusion of the second round of the playoffs here at Talladega Super Speedway, joined now by the 3rd place finisher, Cody McCorkle, in the number 12 truck tonight. Got Ream on the quarter panel and hood. Cody, night started off a little bit rough, a couple incidents here and there, but after that, the bumpers and fenders quite clean on that 12th truck. Just walk us through your night, and then that little last run there with only 4 trucks to the checkered.
Yeah, it was just a battle of attrition, just trying to keep the truck clean, dodge everything, as you could see. There at the end, man, I was hoping the 54 would go with me, but I guess he wanted it too. So, that's how it goes, I guess.
This race, certainly not more cautions than we're used to, but I think the accidents that we had were larger and took out more cars. How does your mindset change when the number of cars is reduced? Does that make you more cautious as the cars start dropping out of the race, or does that make you more aggressive because there's less of a penalty for making a mistake?
For me, I want to try to just keep the car clean no matter what. Once you see other people making mistakes, it's about eliminating your own mistakes and just staying out of trouble.
All right, well, Cody McCorkle in third place tonight in number 12. A really solid finish for the 12 after all that. This race of attrition for sure, but a good result for Cody McCorkle. Cody, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Next up is going to be Josh Adams, the number 95, who came home in second place tonight. Josh, kind of a wild one tonight. Your thoughts on Talladega and the last little sprint to the end there?
I think it probably played out the way you guys and everybody probably expected. I just don't think we expected 4 guys to come to the end.
That, of course, that last little run with only 4 drivers. I mean, I think we saw a lot of conservative driving, but why do you think everyone was so conservative there instead of being aggressive? I mean, if you crashed, you would only finish 5th or 6th. So, in terms of the end there, was there anything to lose for you in that 95 team?
Not really. I was just going for the win, but I was behind my teammate there. With 4 guys in a draft, if you try and pull out, what happened to me on the white flag, or coming to the white flag is, what happens if nobody goes with you. So you got to be super careful about how you make the move and make it right at the right time. And I didn't do that. I thought when he got off the bottom to pass those lapped cars that was my chance to go high, but nobody went with me. So.
Any further thoughts leaving Talladega before we head to the next round of the playoffs in round number 3?
It was a pretty good race when we had a bunch of cars up there. Kind of wish we would have finished with the pack, but looking forward to the next.
All right, Josh Adams, second place tonight in the number 95 Chevrolet Silverado. Josh, thanks for talking.
Thank you. Johnny
Thomas, the defending champion of this series, comes on through with a victory here at Talladega. Johnny, kind of a wild one tonight, as we mentioned to the other drivers. I don't think we could have ruled you out for sure. I mean, I think every time we come to a track like this, your name comes to the top of my list as picks, but I think the way you won it was a little unorthodox. Just walk us through the race tonight and how crazy it was out there for you in that 81 team.
Yeah, hell yeah, Kyle. We got a win here tonight. It was fun. Crazy. That was not how I planned it, but, I don't think we were lucky with missing the wrecks. We were always ahead of the wreck, except for that last one there at the end, though. But I think the guys were a little bit greedy there. This points battle, I feel like in the trucks, there was kind of a big gap, and a lot of these guys had nothing to lose. So I think that's what made it a little crazy. I think tomorrow you won't see that type of craziness until maybe 5-10 laps to go. But this reminded me of the old 2002 Busch race, if you guys remember that, where there was like 3 cars left at the end. I wasn't too sure who won that. I think Joe Nemechek or somebody won that race. But man, I'm pumped to win this. I missed the race last week, and it was super fun. I don't know what was going to happen that last lap, and we somehow got it. I don't know if you consider that a pass in the grass. I don't know if I was first or second when I went into the grass, but that'd be pretty cool.
So, defending champion of the series, probably not in a great position points-wise for the championship, but do you think, how much do you think you can dig yourself out of that points hole before the season finale? Do you think it's possible to dig yourself out of that hole and come home with another championship trophy in the Truck Series?
No, I'm kicking myself in the foot for missing last week. We had a little bit of internet problems, and I couldn't make it. But I'm going to try to get to, I think I get a top 5. I'd love to get a top 5 in both series. I'm really pumped about tomorrow and trying to do the clean sweep here at Talladega. But the Truck Series is fun. I love the trucks, and I felt like if I could have raced at Atlanta, which is a really good track for me, then I don't know. I might have had something for Gruenberg, but he had a really good finish. His point lead is probably fairly large right now.
I would say that's probably going to be the case, Johnny. Hey, congratulations, buddy. Good to see you in victory lane. We'll talk to you next week, and hopefully tomorrow we'll see you in victory lane. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, plan on being here tomorrow, so take it easy.
Have a good night. Interview is complete here at Talladega, Finian. Your thoughts on what was a very interesting race at Talladega?
Yeah, very unconventional race, Talladega, definitely, to say the least, with only 4 guys coming across the line for a chance of the win, and that went down to 2 coming out of the trial. But yeah, these guys did a fairly good job. I mean, we only had 4 cautions. Unfortunately, the wrecks were a lot bigger in scale than I think a lot of guys would have anticipated. So, but, definitely an interesting finish to the race.
I would say so. That's going to do it for us tonight. Here tomorrow for the Race Kings Cup Series. We'll see you at 9:40 p.m. tomorrow evening, and then Tuesday, the Elite Mods at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. That'll be on speed51.com/Elite Modified Tour. And then right after that, the Fuel Cup Series. They will be at Kentucky at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, we're off. Thursday, we should have some Fuel IndyCar Series action, so some more open wheel should be coming up here shortly. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow with the Race Kings Cup Series action, and next week for more YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour action. Have a good night.